The entire stadium watched the baseball leave Shohei Ohtani's bat, but nobody expected where it was going. Higher, higher, and higher. The outfielder barely moved. The crowd was already screaming. Then the baseball reached the top of the stadium, and suddenly, boom, it hit the roof. For a moment, the entire ballpark went silent. Then everyone realized what they had just witnessed. Ohtani had hit the roof. But there was a problem. Nobody knew where the ball had gone after the impact. The outfielders were looking around. The infielders were confused. The umpire was trying to track the play, and Ohtani was standing near home plate, watching the entire scene unfold. But this unbelievable moment had started several innings earlier. The game was already intense when Ohtani stepped into the batter's box for his first at-bat. The opposing pitcher had a clear plan: keep the ball away from the middle of the zone and force Ohtani to chase. The first pitch came outside. Ball 1. The next pitch was a breaking ball. Ohtani watched it carefully. Strike 1. The pitcher came back with a fastball. Ohtani swung. Foul. The crowd reacted. The pitcher now had the count he wanted. He came set. Another fastball. Ohtani attacked. Crack. The baseball launched toward deep center field. The crowd rose, but the center fielder tracked it perfectly. He made the catch. Ohtani walked back toward the dugout. The pitcher had survived, but Ohtani was studying him. He was watching the release. He was watching the movement, and he was waiting for the right pitch. Several innings later, Ohtani came back to the plate. This time, the pitcher tried a completely different approach. Low pitch, outside pitch, breaking ball. Ohtani stayed patient. The count became full. The pitcher finally challenged him. Fastball. Ohtani swung. Crack. The baseball exploded toward left field. The crowd immediately rose. The outfielder ran back. But this time, the ball kept carrying. It went over the outfielder's head. The crowd erupted. Ohtani reached first, then second, but the play was stopped by a spectacular catch near the wall. Another opportunity gone. Ohtani returned to the dugout. Still no big moment, but he wasn't frustrated. He knew the pitcher was starting to run out of options. Then came the late innings. The game was close. Every run mattered, and Ohtani stepped into the batter's box once again. The pitcher looked toward the catcher. The sign came in. He nodded. Ohtani settled into his stance. First pitch, fastball. So right down the middle. Ohtani didn't swing. Strike 1. The next pitch came outside. Ball 1. The pitcher tried a slider. Ohtani fouled it away. Strike 2. The crowd became louder. The pitcher now had Ohtani in a difficult count. He wanted the strikeout. The catcher gave the sign. The pitcher nodded. He began his delivery. The baseball came toward the plate. Ohtani tracked it. His front foot landed. His hands loaded. And then, crack. The sound was different. Much louder. The baseball launched almost straight upward. The crowd gasped. The ball kept climbing. Higher, higher. The outfielders looked up. Then the entire stadium started pointing toward the roof. The baseball was still rising. Ohtani dropped the bat. He watched. The pitcher turned around. Everyone was looking at the same thing. The baseball reached the highest part of its flight. And then, boom! It slammed into the roof. The stadium erupted. The ball bounced away from the impact point. Nobody knew exactly where it had landed. The players looked confused. The fans were screaming. Ohtani stood near first base, waiting for the umpires to make a decision. Was it a home run? Was it still in play? Did the ball hit the roof before coming down? The umpiring crew gathered. The stadium screen showed the replay. The first angle wasn't clear. Then another angle appeared. The crowd became even louder. The baseball was visible rising toward the roof. Then the replay froze. Everyone waited. and the umpire stepped forward. The entire stadium waited as the umpire stepped forward. Ohtani stood near first base, watching closely. The ball had hit the roof, but nobody knew exactly what the official ruling would be. The crowd became completely silent for a moment, waiting for the decision. Then the umpire raised his hand. Home run. The stadium exploded. Fans jumped out of their seats. Teammates rushed toward the dugout railing, and Ohtani finally started around the bases. The giant scoreboard immediately displayed the home run announcement, while the replay showed the incredible moment again. The baseball had climbed higher and higher before slamming into the roof. The impact sent it bouncing away, leaving everyone confused for several seconds. But the replay confirmed what everyone had just witnessed. Ohtani had hit the roof. The commentators couldn't believe it. They kept replaying the swing, trying to explain just how much power Ohtani had generated. It wasn't simply another home run. It was one of those moments where everyone inside the stadium had to look up and wonder what they were watching. Ohtani reached home plate, and his teammates surrounded him. The celebration was enormous. Fans continued chanting his name, while the giant screen showed the roof impact from multiple angles. But the game wasn't finished. The opposing team still had an opportunity to respond, and the Dodgers knew they needed to protect their advantage. Their pitcher stepped onto the mound and immediately attacked the next hitter. The first pitch was a fastball. Strike one. The batter fouled off the next pitch. Strike two. The stadium became loud again. The pitcher delivered a breaking ball. The hitter swung and missed. Strike three. 1 out. The next batter stepped in and hit a ground ball toward shortstop. The fielder picked it up cleanly and threw across the diamond. Out. 2 outs. The final batter stepped into the box, with the crowd completely behind the Dodgers. The pitcher came set. Fastball. The hitter swung. A high fly ball went towards center field. The outfielder tracked it. He made the catch. 3 outs. The inning was over. The Dodgers had protected the lead, but the biggest story was still Ohtani's unbelievable swing. Fans continued watching the replay on the stadium screen. Every time the ball climbed toward the roof, the crowd reacted all over again. The swing had everything: power, drama, and an unbelievable visual. The ball didn't simply disappear over the wall. Everyone actually watched it climb toward the roof before making contact. That's why the moment became unforgettable. Ohtani had already produced countless incredible baseball moments, but this one was different. The crowd had no idea what was going to happen after the ball left his bat. The outfielders couldn't make a play. The pitcher could only turn and watch. And for a few seconds, the entire stadium was looking straight up. Then came the sound. Boom! The roof shook to tour. The crowd erupted. And Ohtani's home run became the moment everyone would be talking about after the game. By the end of the night, fans weren't just discussing the final score. They were discussing the swing that sent a baseball crashing into the roof. One swing, one incredible flight, one roof, and one unforgettable Shohei Ohtani moment.